الحمد لله رب العالمين ونصلي ونسلم على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم وبعد. Before we start again, if the brothers can come a bit closer, unless you have a reason to sit and lean the back, I would advise the brothers to come close, sit as close as possible. Just so happens that it's got to do with the very hadith we'll be covering today, where Jibreel came and sat right in front of the Messenger when asking him the most famous question of the hadith. Now, before we go into hadith number 2 of Al-Arba'in Nawawiyya, I would like to recap some of the points that were mentioned in the previous lesson. Number 1 is, what's the name of the author of Arba'in Nawawiyya? What did we say the name of the author is?
Imam Abu Yahya Sharaf.
Oh, almost.
Nawawi.
Muhyiddin Abu Zakaria Yahya ibn Sharaf al-Nawawi. Alright, and what was special about Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah? Let's mention one thing, yeah?
When the other kids were playing, he was just sitting there all alone and reading in his head.
Very good, excellent. So Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah, when he was young, the age of 5 or 6, all the kids, like you see in the playground, they were playing about, messing about, and they're trying to pull his arm, pull his clothes to make him come and join them. Well, he would just sit there and revise the Quran, and even to the point of weeping and saying, Allah Azza wa Jalla didn't make me for the purpose of wasting time playing with you guys. Yeah? Now, the hadith that we covered at the start of Arba'in Nawawiyya covers which topic? What was special about the first hadith of Imam Arba'in Nawawiyya rahimahullah? An-niyat, intention. Yeah? So, in the first hadith, we said that actions are by intention. So, if a person in his salah, for example, part of the salah is for someone else. So he sees someone else looking at him and he makes his salah better, he stands straight, he takes his time, reads long surahs. Is that allowed? Is that allowed? Why is that not allowed? You're praying to Allah Azza wa Jal. If you just do that, let's say you're standing and you did it for someone else, but then after you're like, oh, what am I doing? I need to do this for Allah Azza wa Jal. And then you switch your intention. Is your salah already rejected? No. So what's going to happen to that salah? Are you forgiven for that? What's the result of that salah?
You'll get the reward for the
You're going to get a reward from the part of the salah you were sincere to Allah Azza wa Jalla and you did it only for Him, right? So, as we said, salah is not just valid or rejected, but rather it's more of a percentage type act where certain percentage of the salah will be accepted. So if you do full salah from beginning to end, 100%. If you maybe start thinking about other stuff, or do for other people, 90%, 80%, 50%, or less, more or less, basically. Right? The last thing I would say is, what did we say about a smart slave of Allah that uses intention to his benefit to be able to get as much profit and as much reward from it as possible? What did we say about that? What does a Muslim need to do to benefit the most from and niyyah, the intention.
There was many private
reactions.
actions.
That is to help you be more sincere. Well, in terms of being a smart believer, right? Not only working hard, but also working smart in your ibadat. What do you need to do? What can you do to maximize your reward? During the day when you're busy with work, you're busy with family, you're busy eating, you're busy watching the news, you're busy, you're out with friends, you're in the gym. How can you maximize that benefit from even doing those worldly deeds? So intention, even if you're out with your boys and you're playing, right, and you're chilling, as long as you intention, you consciously say to yourself that you're doing this for the sake of Allah in any way you can think of. Use your imagination. That whole action, that is just a normal day-to-day chilling activity of yours, all become ajr. Even sleeping, like we said. If you sleep and you say, for example, one example is
Sleep to get energy. So
sleep to get energy, literally just seconds before you sleep, you're like, the reason why I'm sleeping is that so I can have the strength to worship Allah better. That's it. And you go to sleep. And that whole sleep is now going to be ajr, considered ajr. So you're sleeping, snoring away, making loud noises, and all of that is ajr. Subhanallah. Yeah, so it's about using one's mind and be a smart believer, using that to your benefit to maximize the rewards with Allah Azza wa Jal.
I think there is one sunnah as well on it that some so hard.
Let's do the questions at the end.
Right.
Inshallah. Any comments or any question we do at the end so it becomes more organized. Apologies. So now that was the first hadith. The first hadith was also on the authority of which companion?
Abu Hurairah.
Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. Right? Now hadith number 2 is also on the authority of Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. الحديث الثاني عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه قال بينما نحن جلوس عند رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ذات يوم إذ طلع علينا رجل شديد بياض الثياب شديد سواد الشعر لا يرى عليه أثر السفر ولا يعرفه منا أحد حتى إذا جلس إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فأسند ركبتيه إلى ركبتيه ووضع كفيه على فخذيه وقال يا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم أخبرني عن الإسلام فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الإسلام أن تشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله وتقيم الصلاة وتؤتي الزكاة وتصوم رمضان وتحج البيت إن استطعت إليه سبيلا قال صدقت فعجبنا له يسأله ويصدقه قال فأخبرني عن الإيمان قال أن تؤمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر وتؤمن بالقدر خيره وشره قال صدقت قال فأخبرني عن الإحسان قال أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك قال فأخبرني عن الساعة قال ما المسؤول عنها بأعلم من السائل قال فأخبرني عن أماراتها قال أن تلد الأمة ربتها وأن ترى الحفاة العراة العارة الرعاء الشاء يتطاولون في البنيان ثم انطلق فلبثت مليا ثم قال يا عمر أتدري من السائل قلت الله ورسوله أعلم قال إنه جبريل أتاكم يعلمكم دينكم رواه مسلم. Monumentous hadith. One of the cornerstone of our whole religion, commonly known as Hadith Jibreel alayhi salam, filled with gems and jewels and lessons that we can extract from this hadith. Ulama would spend a lifetime studying the Hadith of Jibreel. Ulama would write encyclopedias, books, explaining just Hadith Jibreel alayhi salam. But in that limited time that we have, we will extract as many of those lessons as possible, inshallah ta'ala. On the authority of Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu said, we were sitting with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and a man appeared. A man walked in. Excessive white garments, just like I'm wearing today. Excessive black hair. The remnants of travel were not seen. You could tell that he's not a traveler, as he's got clean clothes. And we didn't know him. And he came and he sat right in front of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sitting in the tashahhud position with his hands on his thighs, and then he started asking Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam those questions. So if we stop here for a moment, this initial part of the hadith where Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu describes the scene of a man randomly appearing and then describing his features, that he was wearing white garments with excessive black hair, and they didn't know him, so they thought, oh, we don't know him, so he might be a traveler. But then the issue was, there were no traces of travel seen on him. You know, when you travel, especially that time, you're gonna get dirty clothes, you're gonna travel for days, there's sand, there's mud, you're riding on a camel, on a horse, yeah? So you'd be able to tell that someone's just come from a journey. But that wasn't the case. And then Umar al-Khattab says, and none of us knew him. So this very first appearance of this man puzzled the companions. We understand from this first part of this enormous hadith of Jibreel, the closeness of the companions, the brotherhood and unity that they had for one another. Regardless of your family, your tribe, your lineage, that they were so close that they knew every individual of that community. Every person that's part of that society, they were familiar with them. And this then shows us that no matter who is part of that community, they ought to be treated as an equal. No one is better than another Muslim. There is no difference between an Arab and a non-Arab in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal except taqwa. I don't care that you're sitting here today and you walk out after this lesson and you see someone on the street but he says La ilaha illallah, you have no right to say that you sat here today so you're better than him. No way. What guarantee do you have that you sitting here is going to be accepted from you? Can you guarantee that? Can you give me a guarantee that Allah Azza wa Jal will definitely accept this? Or accept your salah, this Maghrib that we just prayed, or the Isha that we're gonna pray, or any deed for that matter? We can't. There is no difference between you and the person you see outside. You have no right to belittle any Muslim that you see. We are one. We are like one body. As the hadith states, when one body part hurts, the whole body suffers. Yeah, what happens when you injure your arm? You can't think, you can't sleep, you can't focus, you go through pain, you go anxiety, stress, just because of your arm hurting. And this has become more prevalent, more concern in these times, where because of being disunited in this way, we have to literally sit here and not being able to do anything for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Yes, it is good that we raise awareness And then we make dua for them. Indeed, the dua is the sword of the believer. But other than that, we're not able to lend a hand and help those fellow brothers and sisters going through calamities around the world. We are so disunited. We are so far from each other. In one masjid, we don't get along. In one masjid, we can't excuse our brothers and sisters. In one community, we can't stay together. Then how are we surprised when the Muslims are going through suffering? They wouldn't belittle anyone. The companions, the Muslims. Who was the mu'adhin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Who was the mu'adhin? Bilal. Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anhu. Where is Bilal from? Africa. He was an African ex-slave. And what station and what rank did Islam give him? He was the mu'adhin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the closest companions to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the status that Allah Azza wa Jal gave him. Even though at that time, way more than our time today, racism, tribalism, nationalism was the norm of society. And to have a dark-skinned individual being regarded as your superior was unacceptable to that society. But yet, Islam does not care about your physical appearance. Islam does not care how much money you have. Islam does not care what language you speak. Islam, Allah Azza wa Jal, will not look at how you look, how you dress, but He will look at your heart and the taqwa, the God consciousness that you have within your heart. At-taqwa ha huna, as the Messenger ﷺ proclaimed. Taqwa is in the heart. That is the difference between you and the person next to you. So the only thing that we have to distinguish two people from each other is at-taqwa. And at-taqwa is known to only who? Allah Azza wa Jal. Do you know how much taqwa the person sitting next to you has? No. You have no idea what's in the heart. So for us now, there is no measurement between ourselves on who is better in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. We don't know. When you see someone outside, they may be on the street. They may be doing drugs. Well, imagine he went home and smiled at his mom and Allah Azza wa Jal loved that act that he's admitted into Jannah. And your whole life becomes haba and manthura. Your whole life is rejected from you. What are you going to do? You know, when a woman, a pious woman, you know, when you look at that woman, all you see is ibadah, all you see is worship day and night. But her place is in Jahannam because of the way she treated a cat. She did dhulm on a cat. Other than the cat, she was praying day and night, fasting, giving zakah, went hajj. She still ends up in Jahannam because of the oppression to an animal. And then the flip side, you see a woman, an adulteress, the worst of actions you can commit in Islam. Just because she gave a thirsty dog some water, she was forgiven for her sins. So now you tell yourself, you see someone that's that pious, a woman that's that pious, then you see the flip side of that. You have your own views of both those people, but look at how it is the opposite to what we would think. Just because we don't know. You don't know what action Allah Azza wa Jal has accepted and which one He's rejected from you. You have no guarantee, you are no way to tell. So this helps whenever you see people and that feeling comes in your heart. You know when you feel that you may be better than that person and you remember that you don't know if that person's action is accepted and your one is rejected. Once you get in the habit of telling yourself this, bi'idhnillah, that feeling of takabbur, of thinking you're better than others, will start to go away. Because in the hadith, it says, anyone with an atom's weight, if even a bit you think, you know what, I'm better than that person, your whole life of worship is rejected from you. You know, when Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he was passing away, his family came around him and they heard the Imam say, not yet, not yet. So they said, oh Imam, how come you're saying not yet? So Imam Ahmad rahimahullah said, Shaitan came to me. Shaitan came to me in the form of a man, and he's like, Imam, you know what, like, I submit. I've lost, you've won. You're the better person. I submit and proclaim to you my loss. I've lost. He goes, no, I know what you're trying to do. He was trying to make Imam Ahmad feel like he's someone. But he flopped, because Imam rahimahullah, his iman and taqwa, Shaitan didn't have a chance. But he tried. Because Shaitan knows Sakaratul Maut, when he's passing away, what would happen to 1 million hadith that's memorized, a whole lifetime dedicated to knowledge and ilm and worship and fasting and struggle. What would happen to that whole lifetime if he, even for that moment, thinks that he's someone and he's better? What would happen? Zero. It's that dangerous. Imagine your whole life dedicated to worship, and because of that, at the end of your life, everything becomes zero. That's why Shaitan tried. I have nothing to lose, so let me try. So, this is with regards to thinking that you're better than others. The other thing is, when you see your Muslim brother, you need to focus on what you have in common with the brother, rather than how you two differ. That's understood? So when you see a Muslim brother, you see someone who is in the same row as you, believes in the same Allah and the same Rasul as you, who is committed to the same book, the same heavenly book as you, the one who has the same identity as you, the one who loves the same Prophet as you. And so you stay united, and you always feel like that is actually my Muslim brother. And you make them feel welcome. Even if they might have some deficiencies. Some people, they might stutter. You know stuttering? Or they might have certain illnesses. They might have problem with talking, socializing, walking, illnesses. Never ever make them feel low. Never ever make someone feel that they're not welcome. Yeah, so this is why this first point is mentioned. Those companions, they were that close that they knew every person in the community. Every person. So when a man comes in, he's puzzled at why no one knows him and he's not a traveler. How is that possible? That's why that portion, that part of the hadith is mentioned. They're so close that Abdurrahman ibn Auf, radiallahu anh, one of the other companions, at the time of Umar al-Khattab, when he became the Khalifa, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he went to the market and he saw some jewelry. So he thought to himself, you know what? I'm going to buy it as a gift to Umar al-Khattab's wife. He's not related to him. It's not his family. They're just close like that. So he buys the jewelry and then gives it to Umar al-Khattab. At that time, Umar al-Khattab wasn't at home. So when Umar comes home, he sees his wife. You know, like women, when they get jewelry, they try on, they look outside the mirror. So she was doing that when he came home. And he said, where did you get that from? I haven't seen that before. She said, Abdurrahman ibn Auf gave me. So he quickly came, snatched it from her and has a little stick. So he hit her on the head and said, and who told you to receive gifts from Abdurrahman ibn Auf? That's like your friend getting your wife a gift. So he goes to Umar, he quickly got out of the house and went to Abdurrahman ibn Auf. And then Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he saw that Umar al-Khattab is angry to walk towards him. So he gets scared, wait, Amir al-Mu'mineen, wait. Whatever it is, just give me some time to explain. I don't know why you're angry, I can see you're angry, just give me some time to explain. And he comes and Umar al-Khattab has a little stick. He will carry a stick with him. So he hit Abdurrahman on the head, he goes, who told you to get my wife gifts? He goes, Amir al-Mu'mineen, don't take this personal. I just love you for the sake of Allah. You're our Amir. That is your wife. She has a right upon us. I just saw that. I thought she'd like it. He goes, no. She doesn't like it. Don't get her gifts anymore. Yeah? So the point is, imagine that closeness, that he feels that it's fine. He feels that it's fine that he's getting Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu's wife a gift. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Medina, there was a homeless guy without a lineage. You know, at the time, if you don't know your lineage, if you don't know who your dad is, you're nobody. You know the homeless people you see on the streets? He's basically like that, worse. So there was a man called Julaybib. And on top of that, he's homeless, he doesn't have a lineage, and he's not good looking at all. He does not have the looks. There's no looks. So he's got the trifecta of what you consider negative in society. Rasulullah ﷺ came to Medina, and Julaybib, he's just a homeless guy. You see homeless people, right? Just like goes around doing their thing. So just like that, Julaybib, he heard about this commotion, this talk, this chatter, this gossip. There's a prophet. There's a man, he's saying he's a prophet. So then he goes to Rasulullah and he sits in the majlis. He sits in the gathering and he really likes what he hears from the teachings of the Messenger. So he accepts Islam. Julaybib, he accepts Islam. After that, whenever there would be gatherings with the Messenger Rasulullah would see Julaybib. Again, who's Julaybib? Homeless.
No relation.
Huh?
No family.
No family and okay, ugly. And very poor. He doesn't have anything. Doesn't have a penny to his name. He would come to the gathering and you have the great companion sitting there. He would say, Julaybib, come sit next to me. Come. So Julaybib would be shy and he would come and he's never seen this before. Like, people would just treat him as if he's trash. He's a nothing. But this is someone from Quraysh, a nobleman from Quraysh claiming that he's a prophet, and he's singling me out. He's making me feel welcome. So he would tell Julaybib to come and sit next to him. And he would joke at Julaybib. He would be like, so Julaybib, when are you getting married? He's like, he would be shy. He's like, no one has ever talked to me in this way before. He says, Ya Rasulullah, who would give me their daughter? Who would give me their daughter? He said, no, inshallah, you'll find one soon. So every time you see him, he would say, Julaybib. He says, what? He says, did you find someone? Did you find the one? And he'd be like, Ya Rasulullah, who's going to give me their daughter? Like, he'd be shy and no one has spoken to him in this way before in his whole life. So Rasulullah says, don't worry, we'll sort you out. So then Rasulullah goes to the head of the chief, the head of Medina, known to have the most pious and the most beautiful daughter from a noble background and very wealthy. So Rasulullah goes to their house and he knocks the door. So her dad opens the door and says, Ya Rasulullah, marhaban, yani, welcome. We're so honored that you're here. What's brought you to our doorstep? He goes, your daughter's hand in marriage. And he rejoices and he gets so happy because he thinks it's for the Rasulullah that he wants her. He goes, Ya Rasulullah, it would be an honor to give my daughter. He goes, no, not for me, for Julaybib. Oh, you want my daughter for Julaybib? And then his face fully drops because everyone knows Julaybib. He's a nobody in that community. He goes, Ya Rasulullah, let me speak to my wife about this then. Not happy at all. So he goes to his wife and he says that Rasulullah has come, the same reaction. He wants your daughter, and she gets excited she thinks the same thing is for the Messenger ﷺ. And he said, no, he wants her for Julaybib. She says, no, please no, anyone but Julaybib. Is there anyone else? We can't accept Julaybib. He's like this and he's like that and he doesn't have lineage and he's ugly and he doesn't have anything. Has got a penny to his name. So while this is happening, that the daughter, she's listening to all of this in the other room. She comes, she's very pious, righteous woman. She says, Mom, Dad, what are you guys saying? Rasulullah comes and he wants fee for Julaybib and you guys are actually discussing it? Wallahi, I want no one but Julaybib. I'm happy with Julaybib. And again, remember where she's from and who she is. But because of the piety, she says, I want Julaybib. I don't want anyone but Julaybib. I submit to the command of the Messenger ﷺ. So Rasulullah goes, Julaybib, we saw you out. So who is it? This person, the chief of Medina, the head of Medina. So he's like, he goes, no, don't worry. He goes, Ya Rasul, I don't have anything. Why am I going to give us dowry? He goes, don't worry about that. We're going to sort that out as well for you. Look at that amount he's doing for an outcast of society. This is the teachings of our Messenger ﷺ. Complete nobody. And he gets the companions and he tells them to gather some money, some wealth, to give as dowry, gift to the bride from Julaybib. So they get married and Julaybib is excited. He never thought that this could ever happen. Even in his dreams, this wouldn't happen. So he gets married, he moves in, and the next day, so now he's been married for one day. He has spent one day and one night together. The next day, he's got some money left. From the amount that they collected for him, he's got a bit of money left. He's like, I'm gonna get a gift for my new wife. So he goes out in the market and he's got a bit of that money left. He goes to the market, and as he's in the market, they announce that Rasulullah ﷺ has called for jihad. Battle is going to take place. And people are to come and participate. So that money that he got, instead of getting his wife a gift, he goes and buys an armor and a sword. And he goes from there to battle. And he got married the day before. with a woman like that, and he goes to battle, and they say, Julaybi, what are you doing here? You just got married. You just got married. What are you doing here? Because they announced for jihad. And I bought these weapons, so I'm going to use that in the battle. And he fought. He fought with courage. And he fought, and he brought the battle to the enemies of Allah. And after the battle was over, Rasulullah was he finds his body, and he said he killed 7 of them and they killed him. Then he picks Julaybib's head and says, I am of Julaybib and Julaybib is from me. I am from Julaybib and Julaybib is from me. The companions like Abu Bakr and Umar, they never got that honor. Rasulullah said this statement about no one but Julaybib. And then Rasulullah, he looks up and he smiles and then he looks away. So then when they ask him, Ya Rasulullah, why do you do that? He said, I saw that the women of Jannah, they were rushing to get to Julaybib. They were rushing in a way where the ankles were showing. So I looked away because it is not halal for me to look at those women. You know, this is the example we follow. Just because of not treating him as an outcast, he became honored in that way. That's why it's extremely important when you see someone, he could be any person of any rank in society, where you make them feel welcome. Anything you can say can make or break a person. Words are very powerful. You know, words can make or break a person. The way you treat others can make and break a person. Even more so than physical. Words, one word can change a person's life for better or worse. Never belittle anyone. Make everyone feel welcome, no matter who they are, where they're from, what they look like, what their background is. And this is the result. This is the result when a person was a nobody. You go from being an absolute nobody in society to being unique in Rasulullah only saying about you that you are from me and I am from you. He never said that about anyone else. He didn't say that about Abu Bakr, he didn't say that about Umar, he didn't say that about Uthman, and he did not say that about Ali. Radiallahu anhum jamia. He didn't say that about anyone except for Julaybib, an outcast, a nobody. And look at, because he was honored in that way, Ya Ikhwan, my brothers, he just got married. He just got married. The next day he went to fight for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant us understanding of this deen. May Allah Azza wa Jal allow us to follow in the footsteps of our Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in etiquettes, in akhlaq, in the way we treat others. May Allah Azza wa Jal keep us united upon the haqq. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant us steadfastness This hadith of Jibreel is, there are too many lessons to be covered in one lecture, so we'll divide it up inshallah. The point is to not finish as quickly as possible, but to benefit as much as possible. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us the understanding of His religion. Barakallahu feekum jami'ah.
Takbir.
وصلى على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.